Sarah Bedford from the Washington Examiner, because the main thread, Sarah, has to stay the main thread: the war in Israel and in the United States, the border. But I wonder, had you heard that yet?
I hadn't. That was beautiful. Thank you.
I try it out on people, and David Friedman, the former American ambassador to Israel, posted it yesterday. It's at YouTube, and everybody has the same reaction. They say, "Wow!" And it's in Arabic, Hebrew, and English. It's wonderful. Now I want to turn to the border, which is not beautiful. Mayorkas on Brett Baer last night. 6 years to a hearing. 70% get 70% turned loose, and he's unashamed. Uh, is this what's going on the Hill? People just say we can't do anything about it.
Yeah, I mean, there's a real defeatist attitude in the White House. And not only that, there's this kind of new rhetorical shift from the Democrats in the White House to blame somehow Republicans for the border, that Republicans are blocking funding for Asians. It's a resource problem and Republicans are the cause of it. I'm not sure that most people are buying that because, it's pretty obvious that it's the Biden administration's policies and approach towards handling asylum applicants and letting people, go anywhere in the country, sending them north if they want to go there. So I think it's very obvious that the Biden administration caused this problem, but there's been absolutely no effort to accept any responsibility for that. And now we're even seeing some of the blame trying to be shifted onto Republicans.
Sarah, when I went on with Brett last week, it took me an hour and a half to find real numbers that I could say confidently that 8 million encounters have occurred with illegal aliens entering the United States through ports of entry or over the border in the 3 years under Joe Biden. And I can now say that confidently. It was around 790. It doesn't count getaways. Why is it so hard to find the basic facts of the size of the problem relative to what it was? It dwarfs anything we've ever seen.
Because the Biden administration is intentionally trying to obscure how bad it is. I mean, part of what you hear the Biden administration saying is that when people come into the United States, they're immediately put into deportation proceedings. Well, that's not really true, right? They're given a notice to appear maybe years in the future and sent on their way. Many of them will never show up and they'll never be removed. I mean, the Biden administration is fighting to ensure that they get work permits and government benefits and housing as soon as possible. There's no incentive for them to leave. And the deportation system is so backed up that to be placed in deportation proceedings, which is how the Biden administration claims they're handling a lot of these migrants that are being let out into the US, is to essentially just give them a green light to go ahead and start setting up their lives here.
Can you, Sarah, I'm not your editor. God knows you probably have too many. Will somebody please do, someone like you knows what they're talking about, a fact sheet that just says by year, by calendar year, and by fiscal year, these are the number of encounters, these are the number of people who entered, the people that we guess got away, the number of Border Patrol, the number of judges, the number of proceedings that are open, just so we can have a fact set to agree, and then go back 10 years. Because I don't think Americans have any idea on the scale, do you?
No, I don't think they do. I think that, there's all the excuses that you hear from the Biden administration. It's climate change, it's unrest in Central America, it's irregular migration patterns that are driven by weather and gang activity. None of those can explain the absolute, like you mentioned, sheer scale of what we're seeing. It's like nothing we've ever seen before. It's nothing like during the Trump administration. There's been comparisons to, well, migration was heavier during the summer and the fall during the Trump administration, and so it is with the Biden administration. It's nothing like the order of magnitude that we're seeing now, and there's a lot of intentional deception about what that looks like.
I would love that story. I think it would get wheels and would travel everywhere, Sarah, because you have credibility and would be on there. So, yeah, I know you're busy, but we spend a lot of time talking about, negotiations that we can't see, but I'd love to have numbers that we can rely on. Sarah C. Bedford on X. Thank you, my friend. Thanks to the Israeli opera. Go get Highly Concentrated Hugh today and send it to everyone. It was something of a rant by me, trying to remind Republicans, independents, and Democrats the main thing has to be the main thing. There are people and forces trying to destroy America and Israel and our allies in the world, and there are out-of-control ideologues running the Democratic Party, and the GOP has to win this election. So whomever the nominee is, Trump or DeSantis or Haley, we have to rally to him or her and the 3,000 people they will bring with them. We have to win.